So at this point, I have been raiding for quite a few years now in Final Fantasy XIV. In my time, I've tackled quite a few Savage tiers with a couple of Ultimates sprinkled in between there. I've done my time in both Party Finder and static environments, and I've been designated raid leader for probably the majority of it. At this point, I don't think many people would hesitate to call me a seasoned raider. I don't really have any kind of anxiety about jumping into raids, even some of the hardest the game has to offer. But it wasn't always like this for me. This is something that I've touched on in passing throughout many of my videos at this point, but I actually used to be incredibly anxious about raiding, and it's something that I've wanted to talk about in more detail for a long while now. And so I came across a video by Juunibug titled A Final Fantasy XIV Raid Guide for Anxious Players, which ended up being a pretty big inspiration for me making this video. I will of course link it in the description below, so go ahead and check it out if you haven't already. I'm sure that I'll also be reiterating some of the same points that she has already made, but my goal here is mostly just to chime in and say, yeah, this is something that I've gone through as well. And I think sharing our experiences, even if there is some overlap, is valuable. Struggling with raid anxiety is something that many of us have gone through. Many more people than you probably think. You're not alone in feeling anxious, and even many of us that look like very successful raiders have had to face a lot of those same fears. And sometimes we still do. So I want to help give you some reassurance, share some suggestions, and talk about what it was like for me when I was first learning how to raid. Of course, I will preface this by saying that I am obviously not a mental health professional. I am just some guy on the internet. But I've found ways to help me work through my fears, and that's helped me to grow as both a raider and as a person. Obviously, all of our experiences are different, so my advice and suggestions may not apply to you in the same way, but I think that's okay. I can't tell you how to make your anxiety go away, because ultimately, that's your journey to make, not mine. But what I can do is share what worked for me and help give some advice. And maybe that can help you learn how to start that journey for yourself. So for those of you who are unsure of how to get started, I hope that this can at least help give you some encouragement. And I promise you that no matter who you are or what your raiding background is or how nervous or anxious you might be feeling, I promise you that it does get better. Now, obviously there's a lot of in-game reasons to get into raid, but I personally think there's a lot of benefits to raiding that extend beyond the scope of the game itself too. For starters, it can be a really good social exercise. It can help with team building skills, or just meeting new people. Raiding can help keep you on a schedule and develop habits and routines for your hobbies. It can be very difficult and also very time-consuming, but these aren't necessarily bad things either. You do of course have to ask yourself if you're okay with making a time commitment to it, or if you're okay with sometimes finding yourself in uncomfortable situations. But I think there can be a lot of merit to overcoming these uncomfortable situations. It can really help you build confidence in yourself. It can help you come to terms with your failures and learn to grow from them. And I think the tools that you learn for managing anxiety within raid can be applied elsewhere in life too. Obviously it's not for everybody, but I think it's worth trying at least once. At least then you can be confident in saying you tried it and that you know it's not for you. Now, I think the biggest problem for a lot of people is, at the end of the day, you can't do this all on your own. One way or another, you will need to raid with other people, and this is where the anxiety is probably going to creep in. Now, you have a couple of options here. You can join a Party Finder group, which is usually just a complete grab bag of people, or you can try to form or find a static, which is a set group of players who get together to organize and raid together on a set schedule. Party Finder is very easy to opt into in-game, though if you'd prefer to opt into a more organized group, there's plenty of recruitment posts, Discord servers, Reddit threads, and just full-on websites dedicated to recruiting and trying out new members. Of course, this does come with the anxiety of meeting new people, but for better and for worse, that's just part of the drill. But the good news is there's actually a ton of different types of raid groups out there, all with different goals and priorities. Most players will generally categorize statics as one of three types: casual, midcore, and hardcore. And these range from, well, casual to hardcore. with midcore existing somewhere in the middle. Casual groups are usually more relaxed and focused on for fun raiding, while hardcore groups typically have an expectation to clear as quickly and efficiently as possible. I think most statics fall somewhere in the bounds of midcore, but this definition can get pretty ambiguous, as midcore tends to mean something a little bit different from person to person. Typically there's a more set schedule, and players here are opting to clear first and foremost, but not quite at the pace of hardcore groups. They usually have fairly organized raid times, but may only meet once or twice a week. It just kind of depends on the group. I would say that my statics usually lean midcore with a more casual vibe, but now we're just kind of talking semantics. These clear categories are useful for generalizing what kind of group you might be looking for, but the reality is every static is different because every static has different players with their own unique expectations, experiences, and needs. Juunibug recommended in her video that if you're just starting out, you should probably look for a more casual or midcore static, and I would 100% agree. I would also recommend that if you can, try raiding with friends or people that you know. It can make things a lot easier when you're just getting started. Now, if a static doesn't sound like quite your thing, I will say there are some merits to Party Finder. Party Finder is kind of like the Wild West of raiding. It's where you recruit random people and organize a party with more or less complete strangers. It's kind of scary at first, however, there's a lot of options to help you narrow down and filter the types of groups you're looking for. If you're just getting started, you're looking for practice parties in a certain encounter, and some players may even tick the little sprout icon that indicates new players welcome. I'd heavily recommend just taking some time to look at parties. Just reading their descriptions, seeing what types of jobs are joining, how many players. You really have a lot of options to filter the types of parties that you're actually looking at, and this can seriously help to ensure that you're actually joining a party that's right for you. Even though PF is just kind of a grab bag of randomness, there's still a lot of good people out there, and a lot of people that are probably just as anxious as you. Still, Party Finder environments can be very stressful, and they're usually more than a bit of a mess. To many people I know, PF raiding is the most stressful. It can be tough raiding with complete strangers, especially if you're still not really sure what to expect out of a fight itself. But the benefit of Party Finder is that it's very low stakes and very easy to work into your schedule. You aren't making any big scheduling commitments, you're just there for the lockout, and if you really need to, you can leave the lockout early. It's okay to do that. Raiding can actually be a really good way to make new friends, but it's also a great way to build on your friendships. We have tons of great stories, from dumb running jokes we made during Prague to the incredible satisfaction of getting some of those first-time clears. And I've met a lot of good friends because we started raiding, and many of these friendships have grown past the raids themselves. It's helped us build community. But again, knowing where to start can be difficult, and some of us may not have any friends to raid with, which, at least at first, kind of leaves us on our own. In my experience, most anxiety comes from a place of uncertainty. It comes when we are put in situations that we cannot control or cannot predict, when we find ourselves in situations that we aren't used to. And of course, like most things in life, we can't control or predict everything that is going to happen inside of a raid. Some players might be toxic, or maybe you won't perform as well as you hoped you would. Maybe you'll be caught unprepared by one of the mechanics in the raid. These types of thoughts can weigh heavily on us, and the anxiety comes from a fear of being put into these uncomfortable situations. Our brain is trying to protect us by warning us of a possibly dangerous scenario, but this can create a disconnect between our fears and our actual goals and desires. What I think is important to try and remember here is that your brain isn't against you on this. It's trying to help keep you safe from perceived danger. And that means it's important that you don't fight the feeling. It's okay if you're feeling anxious. Instead of trying to fight it, check in with yourself and try to see how much anxiety you're actually okay with in this moment. Unfortunately, there's never going to be a day where all the raid anxiety just magically disappears. It's something that you have to slowly chip away at, bit by bit. And we all have our own limits. Some days you just won't be able to join a PF group, and that's okay. Understanding that about yourself isn't a failure. When you're just starting out, some days you're just gonna have to say, I'm still feeling anxious, but today I'm at least feeling good enough to try. It's like jumping into a pool of cold water. The fastest way to get in and get acclimated is to just go for it and jump right in. But it's okay to take your time too, to feel the water and tiptoe in as you slowly get deeper and deeper. Neither approach is right or wrong, they're both perfectly valid, and some days one approach will fit better than the other. To use another analogy, I think raiding in Final Fantasy XIV is actually a lot like playing a musical instrument. The job you choose is the instrument you play, and the raid itself is the song that you're performing. Each raid has their own mechanics like musical motifs or themes, and they build and change from start to finish. Just like a piece of music, there is a set order to every raid as it plays from beginning to end. And you may see people performing these mechanics expertly or learning incredibly quickly. It doesn't mean that they're inherently more talented players or that they're better than you in every single way. It just means they've spent a lot of time practicing and learning already. They have more experience and already know what types of things to look out for or expect. If you're just learning how to play piano for the first time, you can't expect yourself to be able to fully perform some Beethoven piece your very first try. It takes practice and lots of repetition, and the way that you learn a raid is no different. Break it down into smaller pieces and start step by step. You don't memorize an entire song from start to finish, you start one section at a time, practice it over and over, and move on to the next section when you're ready. As you grow and learn, you will start to notice patterns and find new ways of thinking about things. Your brain will make connections that you haven't made before, and slowly but surely, you'll start to improve and learn more and more quickly. Remember that slow progress is still progress, and the players who are most likely to clear are the ones who keep putting themselves in instance time and time again. As the old saying goes, slow and steady wins the race. Consistency gets clears. Few other pieces of advice. It's okay to leave an instance or take a break if you need to. There's nothing wrong with taking a 5-minute break in between pulls. Your group will understand, and honestly, they should probably be doing the same thing too. And if you really have to, you can leave the lockout early. It's okay to quit your party finder group or even your static if you don't feel comfortable there. If you're in a static, it is at least polite to provide an explanation on how you're feeling, but at the end of the day, you gotta do what's best for you. Even though some raid groups can feel pretty serious and at times tensions do get pretty high, in the grand scheme of things, this is just a video game that we're all playing for fun. It's okay to take a step back and take breaks, and even if you feel like you're letting everybody down by calling it early one night, it'll be okay. I've had plenty of nights over the years where I had to call things early or I felt like everything fell apart because of me. And at times I was worried my friends would never want to raid with me again. But time goes on. One bad night isn't going to define you, and even if you do feel embarrassed or ashamed, those feelings are not going to last forever. Just looking through party finder groups or static recruitment discords isn't the same as actually joining a group, but it's still one step closer than doing nothing. Even if you don't have the time or energy to raid one night, if you have a few minutes, it doesn't hurt to go and sift through party finder anyway, or spend some time brushing up on an online guide. Practicing your rotation is important, but you can apply and practice what you've learned outside of raid too. Practicing on a dummy is a no-brainer, but try optimizing more in an expert dungeon or something with lower stakes as well. Normal content is a great place for you to practice your rotations in context without feeling the pressure of higher-end raid mechanics. Making mistakes is okay. Everybody causes wipes, even the best players. It's simply just a part of raid. Dying is not a failure, it is a learning opportunity, and learning puts you one step closer to success. It's okay to ask for help or ask clarifying questions. If you're unsure about a certain mechanic, be transparent about it, ask questions, and most people will understand. It's not your fault for not knowing something, and maybe somebody else was wondering the same thing. A lot of people might have a fear of letting their teammates down. You might at times feel like you're not good enough or just not performing to the level that everybody else is. I've felt this way before, and many of my friends that I raid with still do. But I don't think raiding in this game is about having the perfect group. To me, it's about clearing with the company that you do have. The content is designed to be cleared by everyone that is willing to put their heart into it. And what matters most, to most people, is just that you are trying your best. Raiding is not for the elite few. It is for everyone. I firmly believe that anyone who truly puts their mind to it and keeps on moving forward is capable of clearing any raid in the game. Raiding is about breaking your own limits and showing you what you are really capable of. People will see you trying. They will see you struggling. They will see you pushing forward as best you can. And they will support you, because we are all in this together. A true raider's goal is not to reject those learning to find their way. It's to embrace those pushing forward with open arms and to clear alongside them together. Raiding is hard. There is a lot of effort that goes into it, mechanically, mentally, and socially. But the satisfaction of clearing something you've worked so hard to achieve is hard to put into words. Raiding is meant to challenge you, to push you, to put you in situations that are uncomfortable and difficult, and to show you that despite adversity, you can push through and overcome. Every mechanic learned is a step in your journey, each clear another story to tell. You will play alongside many different people, each with their own backgrounds and experiences, all unified under the same goal, to learn and clear together. And eventually, slowly, those fears will start to fade. It will take time and effort, and some days you might feel like you haven't made any progress at all. But the beauty of raiding is that if you just keep trying, when you finally reach that threshold of getting that clear that's so important to you, well, you did it. And no amount of overthinking or anxiety can prove to you otherwise. You earned that totem. You deserve that clear. And if you think about it, maybe that means you can do it again. And at a time like this, with the release of Dancing Mad Ultimate, all of the major raid content for Dawntrail has now been released, which means there's plenty of time to go and jump in while we wait for patch 8.0 and Evercold. So if you've ever thought about giving a certain raid a try, now might be a good time. Good luck. I wish you well on your journey, no matter where it may take you. And hey, maybe I'll see you in Party Finder someday. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.